This is the Breakfast Leadership Podcast. Boundaries or burnout, you make the choice. Here's your host, Michael Levitt. Welcome to another episode of the Breakfast Leadership Podcast. My name is Michael Levitt, and today I am with Mr. Barth Getto, the president of Empowery. Empowery works with entrepreneurs in the co-op space, and I'm going to let Barth explain to you what all of that means if you're not familiar what co-ops do and how they're beneficial to entrepreneurs like you. So, Barth, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much for having me on. It's funny. I've been working in cooperatives for probably 25 years now, and I told my staff just in an email this morning that it's almost a daily discussion I have about what co-ops actually are. They're everywhere, but people just don't know they're there. So they started in 1752. Ben Franklin founded the first one in the U.S. in Philadelphia as an insurance cooperative, and there's 40,000 of them in the United States today. 100 million of the 350 million people in the U.S. are a part of a cooperative and don't even know it in most cases. So it's some of the ones you would know if any of the listenership buys anything from REI Cooperative. It's an online catalog. And they get a cash back based on their purchases. Well, that's the way all co-ops work. The other co-ops they may shop at or have bought from in the past would be Ace Hardware, Napa Auto Parts, the Nationwide Insurance. Actually, the policy holders own the co-op. The Welch's grape juice, Sunkist navel oranges, Blue Diamond almonds. So these are all co-ops, but people just they don't kind of they act as a unit. They act as a national company, but they're really individuals all doing things to a certain standard that allows them to look like a national, international concern when really they're independent farmers. In the case of Welch's grape juice, they're growing their grapes to a standard, and they're marketing and merchandising and everything together. And co-ops also, really what they are is they're like buying groups. It's sort of like a franchise, a co-op is, but instead, like a franchise can be owned publicly or privately. McDonald's is owned publicly, for instance. But a co-op's always owned by the members. So the members have one non-appreciating share in Empowery. And it never goes up or down. It costs $1,000 when they join. It costs $1,000, and if they ever leave, they get it back. But that share gives them voting right, and that share gives them the ability to receive cash back on absolutely everything they purchase through the cooperative. So it's a very old. I mean, it predates our country. It's 1752 was 24 years before the Declaration of Independence. So they've been around forever, but most people don't know they're even in existence.
Yeah, it's amazing. And all of those organizations and companies you mentioned are obviously very well known. And I'd be very happy if any of them would like to sponsor my podcast or your organization. So reach out to us and we will be more than happy to have a chat with you. And yeah, it's something that, like you said, they've been around since before what I like to refer to now as Brexit 1776. And it's one of these things where they've been everywhere. We know and use these services, but we've never really been, I think, properly educated from a community standpoint to really understand the benefits of them. And you listed just a few of the great benefits that a co-op provides. Usually the collective buying power for something is one aspect. And if you are, a farmer, for example, and you need to buy all of the supplies to run your farm and all of that, if you're part of cooperative, then you're getting a better price because there's buying power of all of these organizations that are buying. So you get a lower price. So that makes you, as a farmer, a bit more competitive and can do the things that you want to do. Now, from an entrepreneurial standpoint, and we've seen a significant rise, at least from an observation standpoint, in the number of entrepreneurs, and a phrase that we talked about just before we started, the solopreneurs out there. That are launching their businesses and they're doing everything on their own and they're not part of any association or group. They're just trying to do this all on their own. Tell us some of the benefits of utilizing an organization like Empower that can really benefit these solopreneurs and entrepreneurs really grow and expand their business.
So many reasons. The main one would be when you join, since you own the share of stock, we have a whole staff of people that are out there negotiating. So, we have a staff in China, for instance, that negotiates and does dispute resolution and can do, we have a 3PL, a third party logistics company over there, and we can do photography over there. Same things in the United States. We have a third party logistics company here, and all these, and we've negotiated a great rate with, and then cash back on the backside. We have, credit card processing and foreign exchange and inventory financing and international and domestic freight vendor. So we go to these vendors, we handpick them based on, who we know is the best in the marketplace and who can take best care of our members. And then we go negotiate a price with them on the front. So there's a discount that they wouldn't get by going individually alone. And then, as they use those programs, and it's totally voluntary. They if they already have a shipping, a freight company that they love, it's bringing their stuff in from overseas, shipping it around the United States domestically, last mile right to their customer. God bless them. They can stay with those people forever. But the day they need something that they, either that they aren't using currently, maybe they don't have their own e-commerce site, so they don't need credit card processing today, but they start their own e-commerce site and they need a better price on credit card processing. Where are they going to go? They're going to go use Square or one of those ones that they're being overcharged on. And in this case, we're going, our vendor's also cooperative, believe it or not. And we go to them and say, here's our aggregated amount of business. Give us something special and give us, the co-op terminology for cashback is patronage, dividends, or rebate. But we use cashback just because Jennifer Garner does on TV, on the Capital One commercials, and everybody, kind of understands the word cashback more, the words cashback more. So that's the big thing. You have a staff. I'm sure you're aware, Michael. There's this. There's a state sales tax initiative trying to be passed by Congress, and where they're trying to really it's kind of onerous on the solopreneur entrepreneur because there's so many tax venues out there, and to be able to pay all this and track it all, it's just going to be very expensive. And so we're fighting that. We're out there all the time making sure we went to a vendor and got the software in place to be able to track it just in case. And then, and we're also fighting to make sure to try to not have it happen at all. So by getting together, you can all, like you said earlier, you can buy better, but you can also lobby and do things to try to make life better, the environment better for our members too. The other thing about a cooperative, and I'll say the same, again, a cooperative and a franchise are very similar, except the ownership is so different. That's where they depart. But if you think about it, if you go to sell a McDonald's hamburger franchise, you're going to get a lot more money than if you go to sell a Joe's. If you go to sell an Ace Hardware location, as opposed to a Joe's Hardware Emporium, you're going to get a lot more money. The bank is going to lend more because they know there's a safety net. They know there's a structure around the business. The buyer's going to pay more. So those are the two real, just off the top of my head, those are the two things that are the most important. You get this staff that is an extension of your staff. You know that the members, a rising tide raises all ships. So, as we get bigger, we get better programs, more employees, more to help you. So that, and your business is also worth more. So those are really kind of the three things that come to mind most rapidly. There are tons of others, but those are the top three, I'd say.
So if you were approaching an entrepreneur or a solopreneur and they were hesitant, they're like, okay, what's in it for me? And, of course, oftentimes, and I see this with some entrepreneurs, where they will balk at, the fee to come in. But again, a personal disclaimer, I know that the return on investment on that, and another disclaimer, I'm not currently a client of yours, so I just want to make sure that's clear as well. I say the word currently, but it's one of those things where that initial investment, you're going to get that back. I want to say at minimum tenfold, if not 1,000-fold or more, based on the things that you purchase. And sure, it may take a little time to quote unquote recover it, but you know what? Again, with the co-op, your organization is constantly going out and looking out and seeing, okay, who are the best vendors in this space that people would want to go to? And because you're going in with a larger buying power, you're going to be able to get better deals with the big name players. You're going to be able to get the deals with McDonald's, for an example, instead of Joe's Burger Shack. You're talking to the big boys, and that's a big thing, and it gives entrepreneurs basically Fortune 500 access to organizations where they may not be able to access that if they didn't partner up with an organization like yours.
No, exactly. And look, you're saving money on the front end. You're getting the cash back is really meant. So when you come to our conference, and that's going to be in most likely in Seattle in April of 2019, we have to have a convention every year for all the members to get together, to network, get to know each other, become the family that they will become, get their rebate check, meet the new vendors, meet the staff, all that kind of stuff. So it's a very important event to attend. But, if the average active member is going to receive a check at that convention, so they're going to get money for belonging to the group. Right now, it does not cost you any more than $250 a month to belong to Empower. And we're looking at, we have a call this evening, as a matter of fact, to maybe give a special price to the first 50. We call them founding members. So it's probably going to be less than $250. But even if it was at $250 a month, $250, that's less than a vehicle. You can't, that's not a very good a vehicle that you can lease for $250 a month. And it really just depreciates from the moment you get it. And here you're spending $250 a month and you're receiving, it's like a mastermind on steroids. I always say, you're going to, because we have education, Michael, we have educational content too, that allows people to come in, not pay any extra for it, and be taught by people who have been successful year after year after year in e-commerce. So there's all these things that you get, and for the price of less than a mediocre vehicle for that lease. And it's going to be self-liquidated anyway, because by you using the programs, you're going to get, you're going to wipe out the $250 and have money coming back at the end. That just seems like a win-win. That's why Steve Simonson and Evan Hackle were the two people that founded Empower. They did in February. I came in May, and Evan and I worked together at another co-op, a big one, for 20 years together. So we both get it. And, he kind of convinced Steve it was a great way to go. And now I'm not trying to convince everybody else, because I know it. I got to live it myself. I got to see it for 20 years, what it did for these flooring. It was a big flooring cooperative. And I got to see what it did for the generations of businesses. I brought the grandfather in, and by the time I was done with, left that industry, the grandson was running the business. And I'll tell you, the viability of those businesses in many cases relied upon that cooperative. They would not have made it if it wasn't for that buying power, the business acumen that was brought, the training and the merchandising, marketing, all that stuff.
Yeah,
we're recreating what we know works.
Yeah, and it was crucial on their part to bring you on board with all of that experience, because you know how they work, and you say, okay, we're going to apply this to an entrepreneurial type world. But the methods and the system is the same. The system works. It works. It's been working since Ben Franklin. Okay, so it's like there's a reason why he's on the $100 bill, because it's like, yeah, it's Ben Franklin. He's that big a deal. He wasn't a president, but he did some amazing things. And I always tell people, it's like, if you don't understand all the things that Benjamin Franklin did, go read a biography about him. You're going to be blown away at the stuff that he did. Not just the flying the kite and electricity and all of that kind of stuff, but just all of these things that he did. And I'm a strong advocate for this model, because again, it gives the people, the moms and the pops and the individuals of the organizations that they're creating, the small businesses that are out there, that have a great idea, have a great product, have a great idea to serve their fellow citizens. And the fact if they can get the buying power to buy the same types of stuff that the large organizations have easy access to, it levels the playing field. And then as a society, we get tremendous value and benefit from these organizations. And they're able to provide, like in the example you gave, incredible flooring for houses and businesses and all that for decades and decades to come, because they were smart enough to join, the co-op to be able to get access to those savings.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I know your audience is entrepreneurs, and there are 2,000 Amazon sellers every day, 2,000 new Amazon sellers every day, and that's incredible. And they need it's like one little thing that you can learn that will keep you from getting your account shut down on Amazon, or having a product that is not quite up to snuff, and there'll be liability. All those little things, we've identified and have people that really have some expertise in all those categories. So instead of stepping on that landmine, why not be in a group that is looking out for you, has the minesweeper in front of you, trying to clear the field, and for you to run your business less stressfully. And a lot of entrepreneurs, e-commerce entrepreneurs, they feel totally alone. A lot of them came from corporate America. I came from a corporate job. I had an office. I had staff around me, vice presidents that worked for me that were highly intelligent, marketing, merchandising, customer service people all around me. Then all of a sudden, you come into the e-commerce world and you're on your own, like you said, a solopreneur. And what better place to be than a cooperative that cares about you, that you own, that our sole function at Empower is to make sure the members are happy and the members are profitable. That's it. That's all we do. And so that's just a unique environment that I don't think there's no other cooperative in the e-commerce business. We're it. So, and I think the foundation upon which we're built is exceptional, and I think we'll do exceptional things for these members. Our goal is to be at 2,000 members in 2019, at the end of 19. So we're at 20 now. We have a long way to go, but we're picking up steam, and we really just started this in May in earnest, when we brought on staff. Really June, because we brought a buyer on in June, and he's been adding programs on and everything. So we're only a few months in, and we're doing about $200 million already with those 20 members, because they're big buyers, and the sky is the limit.
That's awesome. And it's obviously you have found something that the community desperately needed. And I don't think you're going to have any problem getting to that number and well beyond it, because it's a model that works, and it helps level the playing field and gives entrepreneurs that additional edge. And I always say this to people: I'm not a big fan of shortcuts, but I am a big fan of taking the right steps to get to where you go. And, being a part of your organization, I personally feel would be the right step to take for entrepreneurs, for them to, get that buying power as if they were a gigantic organization, and have access to things and services and training, like you said, and even the annual conference sounds amazing. These are all, and I mean, you go to a conference and you get handed a check. That's okay. You might need to book out Safeco for that one, because you may have a lot of people attending for sure. So how can people find you? What would be the best way for them to reach you? I care about who comes in the early going, obviously, because, they're captains of the ship, and I need to personally vet them and make sure, they're a good fit for us, because they're going to really guide this co-op. And so the best way is just to email me. It's Barth, BARTH, at empowery.com, EMPOWERY.com, and just come straight to me. But the goal, in summation, the thing that would make me happy, people always ask me, what's your vision for the group? And it really is that, that we can walk in, we have the buying power and the clout, that we can go to an Amazon, an eBay, a Jet, a Walmart, and be able to say that they know who we are. I always tell people kind of kiddingly that
someday I want the executives to get a holiday card from the Amazon, from Jeff Bezos, saying, "Hey, thanks for a great year, and keep going. You're helping Amazon drive their business." And that's, I say kiddingly, but seriously, because that's where we want to be. We want to change that balance of power that you mentioned, and go out and be known by the giant marketplaces and get special perk packs and special deals and all that kind of thing. So that's the goal, and we're going to get there.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will. And I'll make sure to have that email in the show notes on the podcast. And I want to thank you again very much for reaching out. And I'm thrilled that we've had this opportunity to talk and educate my listeners on your organization and all the great things it does for people. And I wish you nothing but amazing success in the future, because I know it's going to take off. So again, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much.
All the best, and until next time, be well. Hey, it's Michael again. Thank you for listening to the podcast. I really appreciate it. If you're like many people, you're dealing with some significant stress and possibly approaching burnout. I know how you feel. In 2009, my burnout led to a year of worst-case scenarios. I do not want that to happen to you. If you go to breakfastleadership.com, you can register for a free webinar on burnout prevention, as well as get a free checklist to have successful mornings. Start off each day the right way. Again, that's at breakfastleadership.com. Also, since you are a loyal podcast listener, I'm asking you to like, rate, and review my podcast on iTunes. I look at all the reviews and appreciate your comments, and it helps other potential listeners discover the content I have on the show. I appreciate you, and thanks again for listening.